Alright, morning everyone. We're here at the Tauranga Courthouse where Richard Seville is due to appear in court at 10 AM today, charged with, I believe, resisting arrest. You guys have probably all seen our video on it. There's a few other charges or allegations. It's a big ask. What they're trying to prove, that online comments equals actual threats against someone when they were misconstrued. If you'd read the entire conversation that Richard had that evening, you would understand the man was frustrated with the lack of interaction from our government on our concerns raised by people who believe this government is doing the wrong thing. And Richard advocated for a process of justice to deal with the corruption in our government, in my opinion. So we're going to be here covering it as it unfolds. As you can see, Richard is behind me, and we will keep you updated.
Different sources of energy. We will call that like, you know, bits of wood lying around that we go and get, and we dry us and dung or something, and cook our fires on that, right? Or warm our houses with, you know, sticks and whatever we can find around. But then, you know, they've got coal. Okay, we'll start using coal, and that grew. Then we started using oil and gas, right? And then nuclear, and now renewables. But he had a graph that was like, and we don't actually get rid of any of those sources. We just grow them, right? We grow them, and what they're doing is they're destroying almost half of that graph, right, of the oil and gas. And as that energy curve, or the sources of energy, has grown, our population has grown, right? If you cut off half of that, what's it going to do to the population?
Yeah, it's going to kill off half of the people. Yeah. If they're going to take away half of the energy requirements to sustain our societies and humanity worldwide, that's going to. Yep. No one's. Heaps of people are actually talking about it. That it's going to destroy a lot of people, right? And people they're going to die. Yep. You can only produce the food to feed them to start with, right? Yep. Or warm their homes, and the older people, you know, that are susceptible to disease and illness, will fucking die. The argument you get from these people is that, why would the government kill us? They need us to make their money for them so they can tax us and so we can be their slaves. What they don't non-essential. What they don't realise is obsolete. With COVID, we just watched them kill off all the elderly in the rest homes. Yep. In front of you, under your bloody nose. Under your nose. It's out there. And they don't realise with the transhumanist agenda, these elites who are siphoning off, so all the small businesses, right, all the regular consolidating the economy into the larger corporate box stores. Yep, all getting put into monopolies. Yep. Big BlackRock globalist companies. Well, look, Z Energy was just sold to Vanguard. Well, actually, the Australian petrol company that's owned by Vanguard and it's owned by BlackRock. Z Energy, right? That 8 years ago when my son was born, Key sold off 49.5% of energy companies owned by the government. Then just last year, stop it. Then they flicked off the other 50% to BlackRock, essentially to BlackRock, right? And no one even bats an eyelid. They're too busy putting their masks on and waiting for the next psyop to, you know, embrace their fear again, man. It's just, you know, and $3. What's it? $3? Is it $3.10 or something a litre? Yeah. So that's why we, when we saw Brad put the call out for digging at Marsden, it made the most sense to me and Sue that it's something we can talk to people about, that that everyone's feeling the pinch at the pump. Yeah, well, you'd hope so, you know. And it's the best chance we've got, I think, at actually waking people up and showing them what's going on. Because, you know, you've got to fill your car up once a week, don't you? If not more. And you've noticed the, you know, 70-litre tanks, nearly $200. You know, well, how's that? How's that though? What, 8 weeks ago, when it went up to $2.90, and what did Jacinda do? She took the tax, like she took some tax off, so it went back down to $2.50 or $2.55 or whatever, right? So now New Zealand is devoid of the tax take. There's less money to put into the medical system. There's less money to put into, you know, social services.
The fuck? And they've just stolen it again.
Yep.
The elites, the globalists have just siphoned it off. It's up to what, $3.10 now. $6 easy. I said $6 last year. It'll go $6. Well, I'm thinking it's an easy road. Well, it's not easy road because people won't be able to drive their cars.
Well, I mean, it's going up 15 cents a litre
a week.
A week at this rate.
Yeah.
If you look at the graph over the last month and a half.
You're getting out of control.
So this is a really good and an easy. There's an easy win for New Zealanders. There's an easy solution. You know, it's $200 million worth of shares, which you know, there's a lot of people in New Zealand that once they're educated and they see that there is a plan in place where it can be required through shareholders.
Yeah, well, that's what Brad was talking about a few weeks ago. I was super keen on getting involved with that, you know, and then I got, distracted by the crap. But, you know. But how many? Because is it 1,000? If you had 1,000 one share, $1,000. How many people was that? That's like 200,000 people, was it? I worked it out.
200,000. So if 200,000 people put $1,000, bought $1,000 worth of shares,
yeah,
that would do it.
Yes, I think that's from memory. I can't remember, but yeah, it's something like that. You know, but it's 200,000 people. That's a lot of people, isn't it? But you know, it's a cheap to have energy security.
Yeah,
you know, and maybe some other wealthier people could, the farmers that actually need it to cultivate the land, could put in a $10,000, you know, buy 10 shares or something, right? So, you know, but
the farmers are some of the biggest people at risk because they store fuel on their property, right? And when it starts getting to $6 a litre, that's when the farms start getting raided from their fuel tanks.
Oh, well, that's right. Law and order will break down. You know, it's already shown in other areas of society where the police aren't enforcing, right? And the judicial system or the justice system are not enforcing. Look at what's happening in my home. Like, they're not evicting people that aren't paying their rent, costing me thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And heartache and lost productivity because I've got to deal with this shit. These people should be gone. They were well over the limit for of how you would evict someone if they don't pay their rent, right? But no, they're basically using the tenancy law to steal private property from private citizens, and when these people that need housing, I won't give them, they do need housing, but because they got rid of all the state houses.
What?
They sold them all off, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of the state houses were destroyed on P, right? And because of the rules, they couldn't let the houses out to them with that P contamination. And that's why are they letting that shit come into the country? Where's it coming from? China.
Well, that's how you destroy a country.
It is.
You let the drugs in. You look at the opium.
Yep.
What opium did to China. That is an absolute no.
You know who did that? Or who? The National Party. While the National Party was with John Key, 9 years of John Key, our exports are 50% of our economy, of our exports go to China. So the economic power that China or the CCP has over the New Zealand economy, 50% of our exports go to China.
Yep.
What sort of fools would allow that to happen? Well, fools that were in the game of destroying New Zealand, right?
Yeah. I mean, at this stage, it's very obvious that they're not fools. They're doing it on purpose. You've got Jacinda, who in 2007 or 2009 was elected the International Socialist Youth Leader. Right? Now, she held that position even after she became Prime Minister. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Oh, that was all over the media, wasn't it? No, they kept that super quiet.
Yeah, so something like 15 or 18 months into her Prime Minister role in New Zealand, she was still the leader.
International Communist Youth.
International Socialist Union.
Close enough.
Socialism is just a nice word for communism. But hey, do you actually think she's a communist? I think she's more of a fascist.
I think she's much worse than that.
Well, a globalist.
They're globalists. They're all. They don't live in the same world we live in. They don't worry about where they're going to get, the next month's freaking mortgage payments from. They don't live in this world. All they're worried about is how they get their next frickin' buzz.
Yeah. Well, I remember in about 2005 or earlier, and Jacinda coming on the morning TV show. We had a big flat, and I was making my breakfast, and Jacinda was on, and you know, we knew who Jacinda was from 1999 with the Young Guns on the morning TV, and I remember saying to the flatmates, if that woman ever becomes our Prime Minister, we are fucked. I think she was in the UK working for Tony Blair at the time, you know, and probably just going through this World Economic Forum.
Yep, she trained with the Tavistock Institute.
Yeah.
You know, getting trained up in Europe to come back to New Zealand, and so this thing has been planned for decades. We've had 3 decades. We've had a decade of Helen Clark, a decade of John Key, and now we're going to get a decade. By the time Jacinda's got rid of, it'll be 3 decades, and our country will be well. And no, like you said just before, like something's going to give.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing it. So one of the challenges we sort of saw around the breakdown of Wellington and freedom groups and freedom movements is gang infiltration.
Yeah, well, that's what's,
You know,
isn't that what's happening up at Marsden? A little bit?
There's a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to...
We won't talk names, but that person that I couldn't get rid of here, she rang me up and she said, oh, I want 40 t-shirts, but they can't be, they had to be red coloured with a surrender your identity on them. You know,
Really?
because you know which gang is the Reds, don't you?
Yeah.
Right, and she is associated with them. And I said, what? I don't know if I want 40 gang members walking around with my t-shirt. It didn't work because I said, okay, $400. The phone call stopped.
It's funny how that
And
works.
it's actually, it's really
So
complex.
I said, oh, money up front.
It's really complex how it gets argued into into existence. So you get parents or kaumātuas who have had children in gangs, and so it's like, well, that's our whānau, that's our family, you know. So why can't they come into this camp and into this movement? And that's some of the arguments.
It's an edge of the wedge.
Yeah, and at some point you have to go, well, it's destructive to the movement. How do we deal with it? Because what we suspect up in Marsden is there was a lot of drugs and alcohol abuse that was happening.
Well, that's their lifestyle, isn't it? See, that's how they run their...
Yeah.
That is exactly,
You know,
that's how they do that.
You know, and that's just ingrained.
And the challenge we had was, you know, people would come up there all enthusiastic and motivated, and they'd drop off some food that they'd made for us, and they'd stay the night, and then
Look around.
these people that were in this sort of area were all trying to get rid of Brad from the camp, because Brad was not starving, but Brad set up a structure where money didn't flow into the camp like it did at Wellington.
Yep.
We asked for goods, for food, for what we needed. And it seemed to frustrate a lot of people, and it just kept, the same groups of people started from day one really, trying to remove Brad from any sort of leadership role in there, and every single hui, which in the early days was every night, and it would be hours long, half the hui would be about, oh, Brad's so bad, get rid of Brad.
Did that start at the in the, you know, when everyone went over to Lyle Bay, was it? Where did you guys go after?
Hangi Bay.
Well, you went to a bay somewhere on the southern coast. Did it start there?
Yeah. So this has been through all of those other camps. The same issue. And then people from those camps that survived them have come up and said they're here for the kaupapa, but their actions haven't matched their speak, you know. So they've been asked to leave. And it's a hard thing because you have to take people on their face value to start with.
Well, you know, you try to be, you know, just like this person that was here, trying to be nice and nice and nice, but at some point you just go, well, you know, you just stop being nice. Well, and you have to, it's terrible. So do you reckon this is a planned thing from the government to use those people to infiltrate and you know,
well, I mean,
frustrate the movement?
So there's rumours that
then they
we
accuse
can't
Brad
confirm.
of being one of them. They're doing.
Of course.
The other side of what you're engaged in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Manifesto 101.
So yeah, we have some very credible information about operatives for other political parties being involved. that were during Billy Tikahika's election were involved in sabotaging the campaign. We've had them come through. We've had all sorts.
How it's going to work in the future, man?
Well, I mean,
how are we going to keep these people from frustrating it again? You know.
Well, we have to acknowledge that it happens.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's like, oh, Brad's voting and Brad's always on there bagging someone out. And it's like, well, if we don't talk about this as an issue, because it is horribly destructive. Like, these people will come into the camps, very hard to ask them to leave. And they would manipulate other people in the camp into being against Brad. Yeah. With whatever techniques, drugs, alcohol, I don't know. But they would never really actually do anything for the cause. You know, they wouldn't come out to roundabouts and stand and hold signs. They would sit around the camp and say, oh, well, we're going to build this today, and we're going to do that today. And, you know, it wasn't about the
someone's
camp.
paddock. You don't build a whole town in someone's paddock.
No.
You know?
You're there to get up early, go to the bloody roundabout as a sign, and jump up and down, I suppose, you know.
Yeah. So the kaupapa was set out clearly from the start, but you know it got a bit messy when we had to back up into the paddock, and it was sort of a couple of weeks after we'd secured the paddock that the I'm going to call them builders came. You know, the people that wanted to build a community there, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, this is just a fallback, this is just a base.
Just for somewhere
to come have a wash and to eat and things like
Yeah,
that.
but they didn't see it like that. What they saw, and very clearly, was that this was an occupation and not
turned into a utamata or whatever. You know,
exactly.
Stealing this land. You know, oh, it's got historical value now because we've been here for a week and a half.
Exactly.
I've got a dump over there, by the way, too. It's mine now.
I laudialized the land.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, and so the overheads of maintaining just the camp alone, it was insane. It just sucked money up and it sucked time up and energy up, and it was achieving nothing. It was absolutely useless as far as the rest of us actually getting out and doing awareness campaigns.
Yeah, really.
Well,
so here we are.
Well, you know, I didn't buy that trailer. I sent you the pictures of the trailer. I was gonna, you know, the billboard trailer. It went for about $4,000 that trailer. But I think that having a mobile billboard could be quite the business, you know, for this.
I agree, and that's why after putting, we've just used electrical tape on the van. Yeah. But lots of people look at it. Yeah. It's a really good mobile billboard, especially when you've got a few of you driving around. And I thought, well, Napoleon was onto this from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well,
exactly.
Can I show you? Come outside. I'll show you what I want to do because I've got a plan. Because I didn't buy the $4,000 one, but I won't. You don't need to go outside. But you see my boat trailer over there.
Yeah.
I want to push the boat off because I never used the bloody boat. and it's, you know, it's a light trailer, and I was get the local fabricator to build a A-frame. Any steel, don't have to be aluminium. A-frame, and we use U-bolts to, you know, secure it down to the perimeter of the trailer, and I don't have to pay $4 grand.
I think we can go check that out. Don't you?
Well, I think the Digging at Marsden needs to look at stuff like this as well.
I was going.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna just upload this. Sorry, guys, we promised that we would do a show thanking everyone today. We just haven't had time. We've had we popped down to see Napoleon, helped him get a few water tanks in place,
which you guys did see on Telegram moments ago.
There's a list of people who made this possible by helping out with donations to us over the last few days. We're going to thank you all personally in a video as soon as we get a chance. I just want to say Sue and I are so moved and thankful for your donations.
Yes, we are. And we will keep you guys updated as we are here at Napoleon's house doing work for Napoleon and Stitch, because Stitch is just the most awesome little dog. Look at him. All right.
Much love, guys.
Later.